Hi, everyone.
Hi there.
It's Alicia Davis
And Stacy Watson.
from Transformative Leadership Strategies.
That's right. And we are so excited today. You know, we always bring new ventures and ideas to you, our audience, to talk about what we're doing. And
Yes.
So today we've got a new one to talk about.
We do. And it's in response to a lot of need that we're hearing from the organizations that we're working with, right, Stacey?
Yeah, it's crazy. We sit in many different kinds of organizations. We sit with leaders, and as they talk about some of the challenges and pain points that they face, we keep hearing recurring themes.
Yes.
And it makes perfect sense, right? When you think about it, you go into a bookstore, if you go into bookstores anymore, and there are whole shelves of management books talking about leadership, right? So it's a common theme, and it's a topic that's near and dear to everyone's heart, especially people who work as leaders.
That's right. And some of the themes, right, that we keep hearing is around, when there's change that's happening in the organization, how do you navigate that? How do you create the culture that you want to create? How do you get everybody playing in the sandbox nice together, right? So that all of that communication and how to manage conflict, because nobody likes conflict.
Nobody likes conflict. And, I think right now in this moment of what feels like endless change, whether it's a new leader coming in, whether it's an important person leaving, whether it's a new mission for the organization, whatever it is, we are always in a state of change.
Constantly.
And so finding ways, very practical here and now, tactical kinds of approaches to help our teams deal with change can make all the difference.
Absolutely. And what we're also really mindful of is that we want to make it economies of scale. So we want to be efficient and effective. And so what we're really pulling together right now is an online Leadership Academy.
That's right. It's super exciting because this will offer organizations who may not have the kind of budgets that allow for one-on-one leadership support for all of their leaders to be exposed to and be supported through a whole series of trainings that will really give them some insights into their own leadership styles and ways they can be more effective with their teams.
Right. And what's one of the things that we're super excited about and what we always want to make sure of is it's very experiential and very applicable. So even though this is going to be online learning, we're going to weave in, depending on the organization, we'll be able to potentially weave in some coaching with that, as with the teams, or maybe even with the supervisors of those teams, so that the principles that folks are going to be learning in the teams themselves, they can really apply them real time.
That's right.
Right?
So we're working through the details. As you can tell, we're still sort of thinking as we go, but we're excited to think about ways that we can bring some very practical, very timely types of support to many leaders at different levels within organizations in a way that's actually attainable for organizations of all kinds.
Yeah. And let's just quickly name what our tracks are. Can we do that with our topics? So the first one is leading yourself.
That's right.
Right.
I think this is a piece that's often overlooked in service to really thinking about how we're leading other people, which Alicia will talk about in a moment. But this track is really starting with, who am I? And if I don't understand who I am as a leader, the chances of me being effective as I try to lead others really is diminished.
That's right.
So we've got some modules within this track that really help each person identify for themselves what are their core needs? What are their values? Are they finding ways to fulfill those within their own leadership experience? And then from there, you're much better positioned to move forward with other people.
Then we flow right into how to lead others.
Track two.
And we know that, especially in times of change, but really at any time, leading others it's a tough job.
It is.
Right? And a lot of times, people are promoted to management positions because they're really good at what they did, kind of front lines.
That's right.
And then sometimes they flounder. They might have the best intentions and the best people skills, and yet they don't know how to manage that kind of dual relationships. Maybe they're now managing peers that, people that were their peers and now they're managing them, or,
That's right.
How they're managing their energy or how they're setting boundaries. Those are all the kinds of themes that we're going to talk about in that second track.
That's right. And we've all worked with what we might call the toxic leader, right? So really trying to understand, what does that mean, and how do I work with that or around that, and how do I not be that, right? So those kinds of things.
Right, exactly. And then navigating change, we already talked about that. But again, track three is navigating change, and it's really about, you know, that whole representation of shifting culture, and how do you manage, you know, just the changing tides, whatever that is.
That's exactly right.
And then the last track is track four is staff care, and the role that staff care plays in a healthy organization and in a healthy leadership team.
That's right. We often think about self-care. In fact, Alicia and I talk about self-care in our videos all the time, but this sort of turns it a little bit on its head to say, okay, we're all thinking about, or we as leaders are thinking about how to take care of ourselves. How are we prioritizing that for our staff?
Yes.
And so we have some techniques and tactics and just ideas about that. And most leaders get very excited about that idea.
Yes. And so I know this video is a little longer than our normal ones because we're excited to get your feedback. We're going to, you know, share this with leaders that we're working with now. You know, if you're interested in either learning more as we're developing this, right? And also contribute even to the creation of what some of those topics or some of those themes are, email us.
Yeah, let us know. We're very open to the input. The whole idea here is to meet a need that we're seeing in our client base, and I think outside of the people we've even talked to. So we're super excited.
We are super excited. So stay tuned for more details, and we'll talk to you soon.
Have a great day. Thank you.
Bye-bye.